Hello everyone, welcome to Book Club Preview. Today we're looking at the Mark of Athena, chapter 15. Now, in this chapter, it starts off with Percy going up to the deck of the ship and just kind of looking out across Atlanta. They parked on a hill, and Coach Hedge is really excited about this spot because 100 years ago, 200 years ago, when there was the Civil War in America, one general, General Sherman, who Coach Hedge tells us was a child of Ares, led the Union armies across Atlanta City and burnt the whole thing to the ground. And he's like, yeah, let's burn the city to the ground. Let's get crazy. Percy's kind of like, slow down. Let's do it peacefully. But that's kind of how it starts. I spelled that wrong. They go over to the library, which is nearby where they parked, and they meet this wonderful librarian named Esther. And Esther kind of has a southern accent. You can't really see it in the book, but she's kind of this kind of southern belle, what we call them. This has this really strong southern accent. She's very friendly and kind and nice. Percy and Frank and Coach Hedge just ask for directions and ask for help, but Esther is like, oh, no way, sugar. You're going to get in my car and I'm going to take you there all together. And she just drives them down to downtown. And she gives them money. She gives them a can of fruit. All sorts of things. She's just so incredibly helpful. And Coach Hedge is like, man, are all the people in Atlanta this friendly? I hope not, because if they're this kind, we won't be able to fight them. And so she was really sweet and gave them all sorts of information, eventually telling them to go to the aquarium. So Percy and Frank and Coach Hedge go to the aquarium. This one worker with that badge, Kate, comes up to them and says, oh, I see your VIP guests, visitors. And she sees the 3 drachma in Frank's hand. She takes the drachma, and they're all like, oh, this feels like a trap. But they have no choice, and they follow her. And they go into the aquarium, and they see fish and turtles and a bunch of different things. And at first, Kate isn't very interested in the fish. And she's like, oh, here's some fish, here's some fish. Ooh, here's some sharks. Oh, here's some other fish, here's some other fish. And she just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper into this aquarium. And Percy and Frank are getting a little scared. But they don't have any choice, and they just continue to follow her. They end up going across some deeper aquariums where they see some monsters, right? Some actual sea creatures of the deep. These giant snakes that are so large they could bite a whale shark in half. This giant squid hiding in a cave that has arms like 25 feet with tentacles and razor sharp blades. And there's all these different creatures. Even some nice ones like the ocean spirits, or like kind of like mermaid kind of girls playing cards. There's some seahorses in there and stuff like that. A bunch of different things. And this is when Kate starts to get excited. And she's like, oh, here's my babies, and this one's my babies, and these are some, and they can eat demigods, and this one loves to eat demigods, and this one can eat a demigod with its armor on, and just all sorts of information. And she starts really giving a lot of information, which makes Percy feel a little bit uncomfortable. Frank is like holding his stomach like he's maybe going to throw up, or he's like afraid he's going to get hurt. Coach Hedge is like, oh yeah, tell me more. And he's super excited. Eventually, Percy realized that her name isn't really Kate. And so he asks, like, what does Kate mean? What does that stand for? We find out in a little bit that the names are actually misspelled. So her name is Keto, and I think in Four Seas Follies, it actually says Porky's Follies, but his name is Four Seas. So the company that made the uniforms misspelled the names. Well, Four Seas comes up, and he's kind of like a crab kind of guy. He walks sideways. He looks a little chunky. He's a little short, and he kind of clap, 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 clap to his fingers. Snaps them like a crab sound. Eventually, Forces and Keto kind of get into a debate because Forces is about entertainment, Keto's about sharing information, and Coach Hedge really wants to know more. And so Forces and Keto and Coach Hedge go off one direction, and now it's just Piercy with Forces and Frank. And they actually get a lot of information from Forces about Gaia's plan and about himself. They learn that Forces got exiled to Atlanta, him and his sister, because they supported the Titans in the Titan War. And so the gods exiled them to Atlanta, where there's no sea, no ocean. And they actually thought it was Atlantis, but it was actually Atlanta. Then Piercy starts to ask a few more questions, right, about the twins. And they actually flatter Forces a little bit, saying, "Oh, Bacchus sent us to you." And Forces is like, "What? Bacchus sent you to me?" Like, "Yeah, you're everyone talks about you. Everyone knows about you. And they just know that you know a lot. And so they sent us over here." And he's like, "Oh, well, yeah, I do know a lot. I do know a lot about my mom's plans and about the twins' plans." And so Piercy gets some information. One, that Gaia has a bounty out for some demigods, and if whoever kills them will get this bounty. A bounty is like a reward for catching a bad guy, and either dead or alive sometimes. And Forces tells all about like the twins' plan, about holding one of their friends in a jar, and he mentions a map. He says, "Oh, but they probably can't get the map to where they need to find out how to get through maybe the twins' plans or something like that. We don't know yet, but they want to get more information." And eventually Forces stops and says, "Let me show you the main event. Come on, guys." So Frank and Piercy follow him, and they ask, "After the main event, can we ask more questions?" And Forces says, "After the main event, I'll answer anything you want to know." And so they continue deeper into the aquarium. Vocabulary: nestled. Nestled is like wrapped in a blanket, cozy and warm. I think that's the ship was nestled in the forest. Swaths. These are like groups or paths. So if you look down at Atlanta, at the city, you can see these paths, almost like rivers, of just forest, of green, whoosh, 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 around. Swaths. When in doubt, this means when you're not sure, do this thing. So in English, we'll say like, when in doubt, I'm trying to think exactly what they said in the example here. But it's like, when you're not sure, just do this. And so we can say that in a lot of different circumstances. There's no one fixed one. We just kind of make up situations. So maybe you're at a restaurant with your friend, and you're like, "Oh man, I don't know which one. These all look good." And then your friend says, "Man, when in doubt, pick the cheaper one." Or maybe your friend is really rich and says, "When in doubt, pick the expensive one." Right? When you don't know what to do, here are some guidelines. Reluctant means you don't want to do it. You kind of feel like, I have to go, but I don't want to. I'm reluctant to go. And they were reluctant to follow Kate, but they still have to. Regaling is like entertaining, sharing. This is the librarian, just sharing all this information about Atlanta and just entertaining them with stories. Queue, which is a line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and waiting. We call that a queue. Plankton, that's like the little green plant that lives in the ocean that a lot of animals eat. I think it's a plant. Yeah. Addled is like confused. So the water spirits in the aquariums are a little confused. because we learn they've been sedated, giving a drug to make their minds calm. Gawking is looking powerfully. Telekines. This is in the last series. These are some special kind of water demons, ocean demons that helped the Titans. They actually made the Titan, I'm trying to think of the Titan Lord's sword. They made Poseidon's staff. I think they made Zeus's lightning bolt. They're really, really great at working on things, and these are the Telekines. Some were captured and in the aquarium. There you go, sedated. Usually like put to sleep. Make your mind go to sleep. Regurgitate. This is like having something come up. Birds will do this, right? Mama birds will go catch some fish or some bugs, and they'll put it on their tongue, and the baby birds will eat it. That's regurgitate. So a snake will eat something and then spit it back out, eat that same thing again, and spit it back out. And it can do that for, I think, 6 or 7 years. Revelries are like entertainment or parties. If you think of like Bacchus, the wine god, okay, or Dionysus, it's kind of like the party god, right? And they're like drinking wine and doing these crazy events. These are revelries, kind of enjoyments from a party. Lethargy is like slowness, lethargic. It's this feeling of, I'm so tired. I'm moving so slow. And Percy kind of feels like this, being trapped in an aquarium with all of these creatures sedated around him. The last one here, I think, oh no, there's one more. Pyrotechnics. Pyro means fire. Technics is like skill or performance. So fire entertainment, like fireworks, or at a concert, fire shooting out, things like that. So doing some fun, entertaining things with fire. And the last one, walk this way, because Phorcys kind of walks sideways like a crab, and he says, walk this way, which means come this way, follow me. But it can also mean walk like this. And so when Phorcys says, walk this way, Frank is like, really? We have to? And Percy's like, man, it's just an expression. He's saying follow us. Because Frank is thinking like we have to walk like a crab to the deeper aquarium. All right, discussion question real fast here. Would you go with Coach Hedge or stay with Percy and Frank? If you were there, if you were like the fourth person in the group, who would you go with? Of course, please make your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today, but thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, if you have any questions about the video today, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you had any other vocabulary words that you wanted to know what they meant, let me know. And also, if you're interested in maybe joining one of these book clubs, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.